Many of you out there missed out on 13 Colonies Double Oaked, but we have you covered because we have 5 alternatives that are going to be a lot easier to find. And if you want to hear about it, then stick around. Well, I'm here with my special guest, Aaron TOWNE. Aaron, thanks for joining us again today. Aaron's going to be a regular on the show. He's got an excellent palate, and we're going to be doing some more reviews for you all. But before we get into that, Aaron, we got to thank our Patreon members. Without them, this would not be possible. It's very expensive and time-consuming to run the podcast and to keep Bourbon Real Talk community going and to do all the volunteer work that Lindsay and I do for suicide prevention and everything else. And we're only able to make that happen because of you all's financial support. But it isn't just about making a donation, although we polled the members and about 40 people said that that's why they support.
Wow.
They just support the channel in general. But we do have member benefits, so you get to do distillery takeovers. We have bonus content, special offers, single barrel selections. We're about to start tapping into some extra single barrel sources. And so whether you want to support the channel or you want the benefits, we'd love to have you as a Patreon member. Link in the video description below. So as we get into this little disclaimer, Aaron, are you trying to tell these people that these bottles taste exactly the same as
No, it's going to be far from it. It's a powerhouse.
It is a powerhouse, and many of the whiskeys that we're going to suggest to you as an alternative don't have the proof.
No.
This has.
Yeah.
And so, but we knew when we released the last video, it was very popular. And most of the comments were from people saying, hey, I'm not paying that secondary price.
Right.
And
tough.
It looks like it's all gone from the wild. And so, what do we do? So we thought, hey, let's give them some alternatives. So what do we have as the first alternative, Mr.?
So first alternative, one of my favorites, Old Forester 1910.
Old Forester 1910. Yeah. All right.
It's a good one.
Yeah, so I figured we can just try these side by side. So in the glass that's in our right, we have the 13 Colonies Double Oaked, and the glass on our left will be the suggestion bottle. This particular release is the Old Forester Distillery. The SKU is 1910. They have many different offerings, but the 1910 was interesting to us because it is also a double barrel.
Yeah, I mean, the nose on the 1910 is absolutely incredible. Hands down one of my favorite, just everyday on the shelf bourbons that you can find.
It's pretty easy to find out there. It is non-age stated, but what's significant about this is that it spends 18 months in the finishing cask. That's the toasted barrel. The SRP for the 13th Colony we found out was...
Yeah, I was wrong. I think that what I'd seen it for online was $199. An inflated
price, yeah.
Which I still feel like was, I would have paid that all day for that. But I think with the feedback we got was like $130.
$130 and $135, something like that.
Which is, in my opinion, again, a steal.
The SRP for the Old Forester 1910 in our area is $52.99. Yeah. So... that is a good one. And to try them side by side, they do have similarities in their flavor profile, but they're also quite different. I think the 1910 shows a little bit more of a smoke flavor for me.
Yeah, it does. And the nose, I can't get over 1910, man. The nose on it is just, it's so good. But, I'm a sucker for Old Forester, and it's got that kind of banana runt. Which I hate banana runts, but as far as the smell, man, it's...
Yeah. So notch. At 93 proof, I wonder if you plus this up to something that's close, if there'd be even more similarity.
Yeah, when I taste them side by side, again, flavor profile, there's a lot of similarities. Where this really kind of, destroys this is that the proof. Man.
The proof, yeah.
There's so much depth and character going on with the 13th Colony, whereas this just kind of, again, it's all on the nose, all on the front palate, and it just kind of,
dissipates.
It dissipates pretty quickly. So
yeah. All right, let's move on to option number 2. Maker's Mark Private Select. And you can also sub this one out for a Maker's Mark 46 cash strength.
Okay.
So this one is in the lineup. It is made by the Maker's Mark Distillery, obviously. And Maker's Mark is the only large Kentucky distillery that still rotates their barrels in the barrel warehouse. And they do that to produce a consistent flavor profile, which meant that it never made very much sense to have a single barrel program because all of their barrels pretty much taste the same.
Right.
And so to create a single barrel program, they had to come up with something else. Bill Samuels Jr. worked with the good people at ISC. They have a division that mostly works with winemakers, and he worked with their winemaking division to come up with toasted barrel stave profiles that would impart different sweetness types into the whiskey in a secondary aging process where they submerge these barrel staves in there. There's 5 different potential staves, and there's 10 staves in each batch, so there's an infinite number of combinations that you can do. And so all of them are going to taste different from one another, but still toasted barrel, right?
Yeah, and again, I mean, I'm still getting that similar note. And for me, and I don't know why I picked this up, but I almost get this. A lot of sherry finished bourbons and whiskeys have like not petrol, not sulfur, but just kind of a.
To me, it comes across as sulfur.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I get like a petrol-y kind of smell off of both of them. And again, a little bit with the 1910. The 1910 just is so overwhelming with that sweetness. But I get a lot more of it with this Maker's.
Yeah, and this Maker's Private Select. And the reason why we said you could sub out Maker's 46, especially the cask strength, is because it's the same stave finishing profile. It's just the Private Selects are privately selected by individuals who tasted all 5 of the component whiskeys and then blended them in different ratios, and then based on that outcome, they determined what of the 10 staves are going to go into that private selection. Whereas Maker's 46 is just their French cuvee. It's just their French cuvee 10 stave finish, and but it still produces a similar result. So on the palate, what do you get on this?
A lot softer. I think the wheat in that it's gonna soften it up a little bit for me.
Yeah, so this is a wheated bourbon, whereas 13th Colony that's rye based, isn't it?
I believe so.
Rye based bourbon, and this one has a lot of chocolate.
A lot of chocolate.
More in the direction of milk chocolate, and not all of them are gonna be like that. Some of them would be a darker chocolate profile, but I'm still getting the s'mores. Flavor profile with the graham cracker and the toasted marshmallow.
Yeah, it's I haven't had a Maker's Private Select in a long time, and man, it's
really good. The Private Selects are great. The Maker's Mark Cask Strength 46 is great. Their whiskeys are non-age stated, but if you do the tour, they say that they pull their barrels between 5 and 7 years. And then the finishing process is much shorter than the Old Forester at 18 months. I believe it's just a few months with the Maker's Mark. The SRP for the Private Select is $74.99. Just went up $5, which caused some problems in the marketplace when you've got 2 Private Selects hitting the same store at the same time, but they don't have the same price. That's not good.
No kidding.
And the 46 is only $53.99, so more in alignment with the 1910 price, but higher proof, bottled in 750 mLs. So
yeah, I saw the 46 cask strength at one of the locals stores today actually, and thought about picking it up, but I mean, you go back.
It's a tasty beverage, and it's the cask strength 46 is Bill Samuel Jr.'s favorite pour. So
okay.
All right, so that's it for option number 2. What do you have for us for option number 3?
All right, so option number 3. Pretty standard fare. A lot of people are familiar with this one.
Yeah, Woodford Double Oak.
Yeah.
Woodford Double Oak is an interesting one because I don't know that a lot of people know that this is secondary finished barrel product. And so whenever we do lists of bourbons and Woodford is in there, everybody complains that we didn't use the Double Oak. And I'm like, well, it's not the same kind of whiskey, really, But we felt like it was perfect for this program because it's a very similar process for the Woodford Double Oak as it is for the 13th Colony Double Oak. Non-age stated product. Proof is 90.4.
Yeah, you can tell that.
You can tell on the nose it's a lot lighter. I mean, but it smells nice.
Just reduce that down and put it on some pancakes. I mean, I'm sure we've heard that 1,000 times. But.
For sure. Price on this one is $51.99.
Okay.
Bottle size is 750 ml. So when you try them side by side, what do you think?
Again, I mean, I get similarities, right? I mean, it's definitely that same kind of profile that I get with the extra oak. Kind of gives me that. I mean, again, it's like petrol for me.
Petrol, that's fair.
Which I like. Gives it a little bit of complexity. I'm not a. I love the double oak from Woodford. I mean, I've got a bottle on the shelf at home. I don't gravitate towards it as much just because of the lower proof, and it is extremely sweet. I mean, if I'm on a plane, I'm gonna probably order Woodford. That's about the only time I ever drink it, unless I find a batch proof. But it's
a solid pour, solid price.
Yeah,
pretty easy to find. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of it. All right. So that was number 3. What do we have for our 4th suggestion?
Now this will be the first time I've tried this one.
Oh, well, that's because I threw this in here.
Yeah.
This is happens to be a private selection, but they do have a small batch version of this that is available on the shelves. And it is the Penelope Toasted. So recently Penelope was bought by Ross and Squibb Distillery.
Okay, so this is all MGP
all MGP juice.
Indiana.
And the particular SKU that we're recommending as an alternative to the 13th Colony Double Oak is the Toasted Barrel. Same sort of process to create this Toasted Barrel as the Double Oak.
Okay.
With the secondary barrel aging that's been toasted. And this has been a pretty popular product. And they do a lot to disclose. So on their label, they say how many years this particular
5 years
barrel was released.
So that's just
they have Charlotte. Yeah. Because this is a single barrel. The small batch, I think they just go non-age stated. Okay. But on the single barrels, their default label allows them to write in all of the details, which I appreciate whenever brands are honest about what they're selling you. And this one was heavily toasted. The Toasted Barrels and the Toasted Barrel Selects are cask strength.
Yeah, I was going to say we're finally getting I guess the makers was a higher proof, but the softness of the wheat, to me still didn't. This is finally getting a little bit more aggressive in the nose.
Yeah. This on this product, it is gonna usually hover around 115 proof.
Okay.
The price for the small batch is $62.99. It comes in a 750 ml bottle. They haven't switched to the 700s, so side by side, what do you think?
Okay. Again, it's just a hard comparison.
It is.
I mean, I hate to say it because I know the video is supposed to be about,
We gave the disclaimer. I'm not saying it tastes the same. We're saying it tastes in the same direction.
It's definitely in the same direction. I don't know what kind of sorcery 13th Colony's got going on over there. The more I've tried this bottle, and I haven't had a ton of it, but I'm trying to kind of baby it.
I think if you got this Penelope though, because you couldn't find this, you're not gonna be.
No, it's a good bottle. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's probably been my favorite thus far. I mean.
All right, let's hit them with number 5. What's the final and last recommendation?
So, the Dixon Deadman.
Dixon Deadman. So I had to look this one up. So this is the distillery is Prestige Beverage Group. And, that's a producer. I don't know that they're considered a distillery, but whatever. They have a producer's license. And the SKU is the 2XO. It is non-age stated. But this one happens to be what's it called? The Innkeepers.
This is the Innkeepers blend. So they just released a new one. Oh my gosh. I want to say it's the tribute, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I saw it today at the store. MSRP 95. I think there was 99 at my local store. I decided that I think you can still find the Innkeepers on the shelves.
I looked it
know
up.
Total Wine still has it.
Total Wine still has it for $95.99. It's a 750 ml.
Yeah, and I liked this one a lot more than the first release, which was the Phoenix Blend. I definitely feel like this was a move in the right direction, so I enjoy it.
That's pretty darn good. I hadn't had this before.
Oh, you hadn't?
This is really good.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's good with a cigar, in my opinion.
This is better than the Penelope.
Okay.
So we're getting closer.
We're getting there.
They're getting closer and closer.
Yeah, proof point, 104 on this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is solid proof. You know, if you can get me in that 100 to 114 range, that's something that's not going to blow out your palate, but it's got enough flavor to keep it interesting.
Not a maraschino, not like the Luxardo maraschino cherries, but like the bright red ones.
Yeah.
With maybe like some sprinkled confectionery sugar.
Yeah, there's
top.
There's a cherry note in here.
Wow.
That's not as dark of a cherry.
No.
As you would get on some others, right?
Yeah, great finish. It's a sweet bourbon. Man, that is fantastic.
Just gotta imagine this though at 130 proof. Well, we hope that you have enjoyed this content, and if you have, we invite you to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified when we make new postings. And we'd love for you to comment because that helps other people find the content because the algorithm will show it to others. And if you liked it, then share it with your whiskey-loving friends. That would be great. All right, now, let's get to the shameless real estate plugs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because Aaron and I know each other because I am a realtor. And if you think I know a lot about whiskey, you should see how much I know about real estate. And I practice real estate in the Dallas and Houston metro areas in Texas. So if you have a real estate transaction, I would love to talk to you about being your real estate agent. There's a link to my website in the video description. And side note, I give epic bottles as closing gifts.
You do.
I'm talking GTS, Pappy Van Winkle's, crazy bottles.
I think our first closing that we had together, gosh, this was a decade ago. You got a lot B from me?
Yeah.
I don't give good closing gifts.
No,
sorry.
he doesn't. He doesn't make as much money per transaction because you are a lender.
I'm a lender, yeah.
Yeah, so
and I operate in Colorado, Florida, Texas, and Oklahoma.
Yeah, so if you need a loan, you talk to Aaron. If you need real estate in Dallas or the Houston metro areas, you call me. But that's pretty much all that we have for you today. If this is your first time tuning in, we'd love to thank you for the view and let you know that we're all about bringing people together through bourbon. And that is a personal mission of mine because I lost my brother to suicide and I saw that he had lost his connection to the world around him. And I saw whiskey bringing people together. And I thought maybe if I can get you connected to whiskey, the whiskey will do the rest of the job and get you connected to others. And as we started looking at forming connection, we ultimately decided to start our own whiskey community called Bourbon Real Talk Community that's Facebook based. It's absolutely free. And we had to do that because a lot of the forums have negativity and hatred on them. And we just don't allow that in Bourbon Real Talk. We're seriously about getting people connected. And seeing that negativity and hate online taught me that if somebody can hate you online, there's nothing that keeps me from loving you online. And that's why we end every show the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that I love you. And I'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk.
Cheers.
Cheers. Pause. Goose pup, you can't snore my sweet goose, okay?